Well, you mentioned NASA, and so in our hangout we have John Zeller, who is the co-founder of something called pennyfornasa.org. Our viewers can go look for it there. John is speaking to us from Oregon. Go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Tyson. As you know, scientific literacy is a huge aspect of gaining support for space exploration. If there was one piece of hypothetical legislation that could be introduced tomorrow, what do you think would have the biggest positive impact on improving scientific literacy in the United States?
That's a great question. I give the more fleshed out details in the book Space Chronicles, but if I had one piece of legislation, I'd say double or triple NASA's budget, create a suite of launch vehicles that can get us anywhere we choose in the solar system. And different combinations of launch vehicles would serve the scientists, the military, if they have such incentives. There could be geopolitical reasons for going into space, economic reasons, tourist reasons, mining reasons, and then all of space becomes our backyard. And we no longer have to have these conversations. Where do we go next? Should we go to Mars or go to the moon? We go everywhere. And when you do that, the entire nation becomes a participant on our frontier that converts what we are now, which I don't even know what to call it, into what we once were, and that was an innovation nation. That legislation could overnight transform everybody. Then people will want to become scientifically literate. You don't have to create programs to legislate that now we need better teachers yes, you need teachers, but that doesn't change the country. The country has to be doing something so that as a kid you can say, I want to do that when I grow up. And so every one of my generation is doing what we're doing because of what we saw the government do. It was an enlightened period, and it's time to resurrect that in our frontiers of political discourse.
There's a great follow-up in our hangout from Evan. Evan Scher is the creator of YouTube video, Neil deGrasse Tyson, We Stop Dreaming. I don't know if you've checked that out, Dr. Tyson, but Evan has a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Evan.
Hi, Dr. Tyson. Compared to many other areas of investment, space travel is astronomically expensive. Will we ever reach a point where the price tag becomes so low that it becomes routine beyond low Earth orbit? And if that does happen, will it lose its potential to inspire?
That's a brilliant question. And by the way, thanks for making that video. I mean, my words have been out there, and I'm always impressed when something that just sort of lives out there gets in the hand of a creative person, an artist, a videographer, a sculptor, whatever, and they then create a whole new meaning for that piece of information or that knowledge. And so I'm honored and charmed by your interest in my words. I think the cost to space exploration is not the issue here. It's already cheap relative to other things we do as a nation. Just look at the fraction of NASA's budget of the total federal budget. You know, it's 1/2 of 1%. I say take it to 1%. That's all. Everyone who thinks we're spending too much money doesn't know that it's that cheap. I want to start a movement that said all federal agencies should get a budget that equals what people think they're getting. If that were the case, NASA's budget would go up by a factor of 10. All right. So in the big picture, it's not that expensive. And my point here that I make in the book and I've made earlier in this interview is that when you do that activity, you stoke the economy in a way that the returns to the economy vastly exceed that original investment. When you view it as an investment, all you care about is the return higher than what you put out. And if it is, then in some ways the cost doesn't really matter, as long as you're getting that ROI. So then if it's cheap, all the better. I don't think the mystique will go away. If you can make a discovery on the cheap, do it. What happens is when something is cheap, everybody does it. And so other countries will do it if you're not organized enough. So the real big discoveries tend to be the more expensive ones.